Hey everybody, I think we're going here. Had a few little technical glitches today. It's not a big deal. We had, last night I worked on our game night episode for today, which was Trio, and boy, I had troubles. So what happened was, we originally shot, I don't have any of the chat up. We originally shot Nana, which is the original game, which is great. And wow, I don't know what I'm going to here. And it was awesome. But hey, it's the wrong information. That's weird. Well, I'm going to have to live with it. I changed it all, but maybe I didn't save it. Or maybe it was seeing the other one. Anyway, so we found out that Trio, the U.S. It's actually from Cocktail Games in France, which that one has been out for a little while. That one was coming out from a new company called Happy Camper, which is a publisher. I know the creator of that, and so I was very happy to support him because it's a new venture and all kinds of cool stuff. So we didn't reshoot, we added that, playing that version of the game. So then I get to putting it all together yesterday, and it went into the last night, into the next day, into this morning, because there was some sort of all kinds of weird little problems. I still don't know what was going on. I had to proxy the material that I normally wouldn't have to proxy on my computer. Proxying means where I make new versions of the files that are smaller resolution, and I do that all the time for Derek, because Derek is in Colorado, and we are here in Los Angeles, California, and so I do that all the time so I can easily get him the stuff to edit it without having to give him the full resolution stuff, because it's pretty beefy. And so I get that all going, and the stuff that came back from Colorado, and I don't know that it was Derek's problem, had some serious, thankfully, I actually was going to just trust the edit. Usually I review his edit, but I had so many troubles just doing the 30 minutes, which ended up being like 25 minutes, let's say, of Trio that we shot, and oh my gosh, it was a beast. So I didn't really get everything done until 7:30 this morning, and so then I went to bed, and the construction people that were supposed to be here on Monday showed up today, and Nikki was still, thankfully for her, still asleep with all that stuff, and then she's like, hey, the guys are here, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding. So I had slept maybe 30 minutes or something like that, and so yeah, I've been operating on a low amount of sleep. I kept, because they were here, then they left, then they came back, then they left, so I kept falling back asleep, and finally I'm like, I am done. I have things I need to do, so I got up and worked on all that. So I'm looking forward to potentially sleeping, but tomorrow we have a busy day. We are filming. Hey, thanks. Posse5369 Bogdanova. Thanks for the follow. Hopefully but anyway, so that we're close to the house, the project on the house being done, and hopefully that will make it easier. But then tomorrow's filming. We got a special thing that we're doing, which is a weird one for us. We have a game that is going to pre-order, I think, starting tomorrow. And we're going to do an episode for it, which I'm excited to play the game. We did essentially the same thing for, actually during the Kickstarter, for Dice Throne Missions, Marvel Dice Throne Missions, I think is what it's called, because I really wanted to play that when we actually did the game on what's going on here? When we did the game on the original game, Marvel Dice Throne, I really wanted to do, I was like, I couldn't wait for the Dice Throne Dungeon Crawl game. version of that. And so they did that, and it was great, and it's fine. But you know, we don't get paid for those things, so it's a weird kind of. I mean, and that's fine. We don't want to get paid for that because we want game night to be just game night, where we do what we want to do. And that's what's happening with tomorrow's. It's a game I want to do, but it's on a pre-order, and one of the designers will be here, and it won't be going through Kickstarter, but so I have to figure out how we're going to deal with that, because we've had designers here before. One of our very first episodes was with Brian Yu. I think that was season 1, but it could have been season 2. We did what is it called? Geister, Zachschukmeister, Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters. Hey, Time Roller. So yeah, it was. It's been crazy. So tomorrow we start, and it'll be that. Plus, we're going to film some stuff with Rusty afterwards. So I'm not really looking forward to it now because I just haven't got any rest. Tonight I will. I'm going to hopefully go to bed early, although I do have things I need to do. It was just one of those days where you do things when you don't have enough rest and you make mistakes, and I was making mistakes. So I've been painting the Warhammer stuff. Let me cut cameras here. There we go. So I've been painting the Warhammer figures. This is Lieutenant Titus, I think. I want to call him Tiberius. It's Titus. And I'm working on now the new. Well, not right now because I'm going to work on some Marvel Unite. I've been dying to work on it for a little while. So I'm going to do the remaining 5 of these so that we can actually shoot. We want to do some game night with that stuff. So we've never done anything like that. We've never done a miniatures game. So we're going to have that one's going to be a challenge. I bet you we're going to need to use a lower level camera. But yeah, I have these other 4 beyond this one. That's still a long way to go on this one. You can see it here. So I'm looking forward to. Is it going to focus? Yeah, it is. It's going slow today. So I'm looking forward to that, but I will not be painting those tonight because I really am dying to paint some of the Marvel United stuff. So I have been working on them. I was doing the Spider-Geddon miniatures. I have some of them painted. They're not done. I kind of got like partly way through most of these I was doing stuff that were related color-wise. I don't see the Noir, Spider-Man Noir. He's probably black and I just can't see him. That is not Spider-Man. Huh. Weird. It's around here somewhere. I was actually looking at it with somebody recently. I wonder if we moved it. And there's more. I mean, those are the black ones, right? They're or grayscale. Wow, where is it? But yeah, I've been just crazy. I'm also going to be painting. I mean, I want to get into all of these. It's terrible. I'm so eager to work on this stuff. So I got all these like. That is one. Goodness, there's a lot of. I think these are all part of that same set. Venom, I imagine so. Well, there's Spider-Geddon right there, the box. But let me look at my images that I have. Anyway, I do wish we were streaming on Tuesday. Had a great day. We played Skype team, and somebody was saying Nikki and I need marital counseling. I don't think that. I think Nikki is great. If anything, it's just me, but it's not really that. It was a tough game. It's a challenge, and she wasn't getting it right away. And we played it before. We'd played it twice, I think, at BGG-Con, and I really loved it. But we need to get in sync because we're going to be playing. We're going to try to do that as a game night, date night very soon here, maybe next week. Start filming those again, which I'm eager to do. I really look forward to it. I did get shipping notification for the. I have one of the new Harder and Steamback Ultras coming, I'm excited to try it out. I don't necessarily, I mean, there's always things to learn when you're painting minis. And I feel that I am prepared to really, you know, I know this, I know the game. We want to be able to be really smooth, and we would like to try to get that to be a regular show. We're going to start off initially just getting us into the swing of things, because, you know, we did it basically because we had always wanted to do game night, date night, but we had to cram it in for during the pandemic. I think I just saw that camera glitch, so if you see anything, let me know. During the pandemic, we just ran out of episodes. I mean, I think we started doing them before we ran out of game nights that we had filmed. We had been planning to do something else, and the whole pandemic shifted all those gears, you know, of course. And let's see if this will let me in here. I don't, yeah, boy. Everything, I got to sign into so many things nowadays. Boy, I thought I did this. Ugh. I don't think I like the, I use an online, password manager, and I don't like this one. I mean, it's going to have to be. I don't have any choice anymore, really. I mean, there are some other choices, but these are like the most integrated into your browser. But man, this one is, I just logged into this. I had to log into Twitch, and it's logged me out. Plus my password's crazy. But it is much better than remembering a million passwords, I'll tell you that. But I guess they have keys, which I'm already using some. I really need to get into that all the way across as much as I can, because it seems to be a little bit easier, even though I'm not really certain how everything's going on it. Okay. I don't really, I have, my profiles are, you know, spanning machines and everything. It's crazy. Let's hope it's not too crazy here. Yeah, I wonder what I did with Spider-Man Noir. He's around here somewhere. Oof, that is a part of the problem here. I have too much stuff out. It's got to be sitting on here somewhere, I feel like. Doesn't matter. He's pretty much done anyway. I need to work on these. So let's see here. I was working on, boy, I couldn't tell you what these all are. The names are here. Wonder if I can cut through them. Oh wow, I don't see that guy. Boy, there's a few that I'm missing here. Did I not prime them? Maybe not. I thought one of these was that one. Well, let's pick one of the ones I actually do have in front of me. Darn it, I want to paint that one. That looks really great. Okay. So this one is primarily white, and it has some gray stuff going on these spider markings here. The spider markings. Who is the Black Spot Spider-Man? That is, I think it's just called Spot. What is it called? It is just Spot. I mean, I don't know enough about the Spider-Man stuff, but he turned out pretty cool. I don't know what like these things jetting out of him are. I have to do some research on it. I'm sure, well, I assume there'll be some of that in the game, but boy, he is definitely interesting. I think I only know the DC one character that was in Suicide Squad because I watched the movie. I really don't read a lot of, I never read a lot of comic books. But it's pretty funny. They have so much stuff. I do love the these miniatures though that they do. So let's move the one that's. So I really should have done these two together at the same time, because you know they're very similar. What's going on with them? You know. Let me change glasses too. These glasses don't help me. They are for distance, and I can read, but I cannot get a miniature like several inches from my face. But I do like their sculpts. I think they did a really nice job on them. I don't know if this game is available. I thought it was going to be available in December, but I haven't seen it. Let me just check and see if it's actually available. Because, and it might be an exclusive or something like that with like Walmart. I sort of kind of recall that. But yeah, that was delayed. I actually bought a copy at, actually I did not buy it. They gave it to me. I was trying to buy it at Gen Con. You know, you had to go in after, let's see if it's under shopping here. Had to go get it at, it looks like it's still not available. Wow. Anyway, so maybe January. I know that they ran into the. I actually saw news the other day about the multiverse Marvel United, and I'm actually happy because I am not ready for that. Because I want to be done with a lot of this stuff beforehand, which there's no way. But I can maybe get closer. So I'm going to probably use this Basilicon Gray. I'm actually use the real one, maybe. Oh, no, I'll use this one. So I say real one. This one actually got spilled. And for whatever reason, a bunch of the pigment settled out. Like it can't, I don't understand how that works because it should have been suspended. Because I'll show you, here's a replacement one. Look how much pigment is in the bottom. I don't necessarily need to use the set. I'm not going to be putting it on, because you know I'm doing most everything with contrast paints. I do have a few of the speed paints, which are actually seem pretty great as well. I've used a couple of them. I just don't. I'm not going to slop it on. So when you do the contrast paints or the speed paints, you put a lot of it on, and then it settles into the miniature. Let me see if let's find a better one here. Of course, I moved everything. This one's pretty good. He's not done. This is Daredevil. But you know, all I did so far was I airbrushed him like this, where it's a shaded zenithal highlight, they call it. And then I just put I think I put straight red. I think I put this red, which actually is a contrast paint, but it isn't that. There is some pigment. You can see it is settled out, but it's pretty much a single pigment. So it doesn't behave necessarily the same as some of the other it doesn't settle like that, right? So, but this is the shading just passing through, because these colors are generally somewhat translucent, you know, transparent. And this guy looks great. I mean, I really love the shading, and it was the basicest of paint jobs so far. I will get back to him soon. I may actually work on him today since he's nearly done. I have him and Elektra that were from the last. I have still not got through the very first wave of Marvel United minis. And she's not done either. You know, I mean, it's closer. But yeah, you can see I only did her hair with contrast paints. It's super shiny. I don't quite understand why. I haven't put any matte varnish or anything like that, or varnish on it. Like usually I just use satin. I don't use gloss except for specifically shiny things. She's got a big piece of hair here, or maybe that's just on my head. No, it's on her. But they turned out neat. And this is actually, I believe, the same red, but like the shading is different. And I might have put a second, I'm certain I put a second coat, because I also came in and then accentuated these lines with a darker color of red. But they are really cool. I mean, I show this one all the time, but this is one of my favorite ones I've done. This is the Dormammu. And I did this one with the contrast paints, but I also ran some stuff through the airbrush. I put some of the color in to do the flames of his head, and then I did some, you know, minor league OSL, you know, object source lighting stuff. So that's like his hair glowing on these, you know, lighting up these pieces. So I just wanted to do a little bit of it, and it turned out really good. Pretty much, you know, I think it looks nice. So I want to get to doing more of that stuff. Those are fun to paint. I love the send some of your novels. Hey, Salustiano, why don't you write me at on BGG? My username is Hecubus, and you can go and send me something directly there. Hey, it's Girly Gamer. How you doing? I hope you're having a good holiday. I didn't actually watch your video. I saw something the other day that I wanted to watch, I know you're doing stuff. You've changed one of your channel. You've grouped everything on one channel, which I think is probably smart. Yeah, but you can write me. I'm Hecubus, Heccubus on BGG. I actually have people contacting me through there all the time, and it's just easy because all that goes straight through to my mailbox. Doing good right now. Right back at you. I hope you're having a good holiday, Angela. Or hope you will have a good holiday. I wish we. I'm trying to have a good break. We're doing the Christmas stuff, which you think, oh, it's only a 9-minute episode or at most, and then a couple of them are longer. You think that would be done fast, and they are not done fast. I finally got them all uploaded, but I still have thumbnails to make, and I want to schedule them all because I want to make them as simple as possible so I'm not constantly on my computer the whole month. And so far, that has not been the case. I've been working really hard. And having problems with an episode is not great. But yeah, they're working really well. I mean, I love, this is mostly painted with contrast. Obviously, the metallics are not. But that's not to say that you can't, because there is contrast paints or speed paints from Army Painter. I have a few of them that are metallics. I have not used them yet. I watched some great videos. Where are they? Thought that was right there. I don't have a lot of the other brands of stuff. I need to get more. So this is Hoplite Gold. And it is, I saw how it works. It's basically more like it meant to be more like a metallic wash, which is very exciting to me because I have tried to do that myself and had mixed results. The one good thing I know about these paints, or that I've heard about these paints, is that they use aluminum as their metallic pigment. And so I'm looking forward to that one. Oh, thanks, Angela. I like painting these a lot. I'm a pretty decent painter for this, and this is light. This is specifically trying to be relatively quick. I was going to try to do all 4 of the ones I had on camera earlier in one go, which I should be able to do. But this is the traditional painting style that I've done. And it's not what they call heavy metal, but it's me trying to do that, and I'm okay. But I'm really happy with this. This took me like the better part of a week, I would imagine. It was a long time ago. I did it probably in 2010. Because I painted all of them. That's from Space Hulk. I painted all of them before I went to BGG Con, and I just gave them. Scott was like, it'd be good to have painted ones in the library. So I just brought my finished ones and then brought I don't know if I brought the Tyrann. I think I did, because he just gave me a full replacement of the game. And we did all of our Gene Stealers. These are Termagants, but they're sort of like this. Plus they have some really fantastic dynamic pose ones as well. So we did all those in a hurry with kind of a speed paint method. Not really. It was just us. There were 3 of us painting them. It was really fun. It's the last time I've been able to paint. I had Candace over here a couple months back, which was awesome, painting some of her Nemesis stuff. And, I love doing that one. I have done some of that, Joseph, asking about whether I do flocking. I was actually looking for, I purchased a basing set from GW that included some of their, what do they call their paints? Like Avalon's, or not Avalon, Agreos, what is it? Jeez, can never remember the names of their stuff. This is one of them, but they have like a texture, duh. But I don't think the other one, there's a snow one as well, a Grelin Earth, which that's what that is. But it also included a bunch of skulls, which is of course exciting if you're a GW person. And then, you can see what you do when you do this. It crackles. So I was looking for the the grass tufts that came with it. It came with tufts, came with skulls, came with several paints. And this stuff is really neat, but you can see it flakes off, which I kind of blew it. There's a real bad one here that it really came off the surface. And I forgot, really what you need to do is underpaint before you put this stuff on. But I'm probably going to just let it go. I don't know, I haven't decided how I'm going to deal with it. Because I just was like, let's try it. I haven't done this stuff in forever. And I think the last time I had it was 10 years ago that I used some of this paint. And you got to use it because it ends up getting real chunky and stuff and doesn't work. But yeah, so I was looking for the tufts of grass and I cannot find them. I can't even find the skulls. I reorganized, in quotation marks, the paint area here, and I thought they were here, but I can't find them. And I could have swore I took that set and pulled it apart and like sorted it, but I don't see it anywhere. So it could still be in the house. We have a little work, craft space in the house. Nikki has a sewing machine there and stuff like that. Do you know the title says you and Nikki? Yeah, Sky Team. I wonder what happened there. I actually changed it, but it didn't change. So I'll have to manually change it in the, I wonder if I didn't hit save. Well, I can actually look. I'm on that computer. Let's see. It won't matter because I don't want to stop the stream, but let's see here. Oof. Something happened there. It does say PaintNight here. I don't get this. So it actually says if you go to the YouTube page, oh, maybe it's, no, you said it says playing Sky Team. If you look on our actual Twitch page, it says it correctly. So there's some sort of a disconnect going on, which is a bummer. I saw that when I was actually loading stuff up. I'm like, oh, and I thought maybe I was just seeing things like the other stream. But as Angela says, I was actually seeing what's going on there. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But yeah, if you go to the Twitch page, it actually is correct. I changed it about 20 minutes before I started streaming, so I don't know. Let me try to do this. I've mixed it up pretty good. We're going to use this fidget popper palette that I don't know where Adam found out about it, but he usually says, so I don't, maybe he discovered it, but it's a great little palette for when you're using contrast paints. I don't like using I actually haven't even used my wet palette in a long time because of it, for a few months, which is uncommon for me. But you really don't want to put your contrast paints on a wet palette, and I have done it plenty of times. It's not terrible, but it doesn't last very long. Now, of course, one of the points of the wet palette is it doesn't dry out too fast, and it does sort of do that on this, but part of it is this is holding the paint in a smaller area, so it's a little bit slower to dry, and I can then put the contrast medium on top of that. And what I want to do here is I want to thin this out just a bit so it's not, even though it's not really a black. Oh, you're on YouTube? Why wouldn't it have done that? Oh, I see these are in the wrong order. Of course, Angela, let me check that. It shouldn't be that way too, but did I close the window? Oh, you know what? It does say that. Wow. That is a bummer. I actually changed it on that. It actually says Spider-Geddon, but it doesn't have it on the one thing. Oh, well. Darn it. But yeah, I saved all that stuff, but it didn't do it. Let me get this vMix back up. I thought it was on Twitch too when I saw that. Okay. Let me get some of this paint in there, or this contrast medium. Contrast medium is great. It is the same. It is, I believe it's identical. The base, it is the medium for which they mix these paints together. And it's wonderful so that so when I'm painting these types of things where I'm not actually worrying so much about contrast paint doing what contrast paints do, which is settle into the crevices and give you interesting shading and stuff, I'm sort of using them as a wash. Boy, that's pretty thick. It's cold-ish for us. We're not cold. It's been cold for us because have gotten wimpy here. And wow, I don't know what paint. I need to use water, but I don't have. Well, I have distilled water right here. Let me just get a little bit. I'm not crazy about, I don't always use like distilled water and stuff like that, but I do use it for some things. And it's especially when I'm airbrushing. That is how I thin paints, either with that or airbrush thinner. I don't know about, I haven't sprayed enough contrast paints to know, I mean, I've done it and it's actually pretty wonderful, but I haven't done it enough to know, it kind of sprays on its own without any, meaning you don't have to thin it. It generally has sprayed, but and it obviously it's not going to have any of the effects that speed paints have, because it's applying it in an even coat, which is great. It's like a great wash, or it's not really a wash. It's how the paints work. I love contrast paints, and I think they're really good, but there's a lot that you can. Well, number one, they're expensive, but for the most part, I am still on my first bottles of almost every paint that I have from these lines. Let's see how thin this is. So what I'm going to try to do is do a little bit of shading just by building up the paint. So instead of, I mean, you can actually paint over this, and it'll look great. And I've already made kind of a little mess here. But you can also just do it with the contrast. Wow, I am definitely making a mess here. And I just dropped that. What was that? Good gracious. I don't know what that was. Knocking things down. I don't even have anything sitting over here. I do like the paints, but they are. So what I'm doing is trying to remove, and if you work quickly, you can get off what you painted on there. So I will say, this is not very well cleaned. I didn't clean the mold lines as well as I actually would like. You can see some stuff here. You do need to do it. I mean, you don't have to, but I feel things are going to look better. Let me show you the Hulk. I'm going to try to do. I started him the other day, a couple months ago actually. It's going to be hard to see him because I've only got the base, but I cleaned his mold lines up a lot. And I specifically did it on these because I plan on dry brushing the highlights. I've already done 2. I did Iron Man, and he is not here. Wow, where did I put those? Because they should be here. I did Iron Man, and I did Iron Man, and I did Black Widow. Boy, who knows? I need to track all that stuff down. And those turned out pretty good. Iron Man turned out amazing because I dry brushed metallic paint on him. Is it over here? Nope. So I need to get those done. But I spent more time cleaning them. I really feel you need to, I need to turn the notifications down here. I think you need to spend that time to make them, if you airbrush the highlight on, it's okay, but you can see like his tongue has like a line right here. I'm sorry, I'm off camera. I should have cleaned that up. And my problem is I do these and they're assembled. And in my head, oh, it's done. And assembled doesn't mean done. This is pretty good. I can see a little bit of stuff here on his shoulder and here, but I mean, I really worked on the shoulders and the shoulders here and his arms. Since it's still black, if you can see it here, I may actually touch that up and then paint it again. Now, I did not clean it up here, which is unfortunate, but it is broken concrete. But it looks pretty good, and I think you need to do that, especially if you're going to use dry brush method. So I was going to do the whole. I already have done all of those minis because I did the first set, and Scott gave me a spare Marvel United set that he has that I used to. I'm going to start doing a dry brush for all of those, and I probably will do some of them on the stream here. Those two turned out great. I was really happy with the the Iron Man. That was exciting. Now, I do know that they were talking about Vincent Venturella did a video a couple weeks back, maybe a week and a half ago, of doing the speed paint metallics. And that's exciting. I'm actually hoping that GW will put some of their effort into something like that. Again, it may not be good for them because, you know, they're not necessarily encouraging you to do the zenithal highlighting. As a matter of fact, they don't really. They say paint it white underneath or very light, you know, bone color or something like that, wraith bone or whatever. And then put the colors on. And, you know, that's really using them as they were designed. But the zenithal highlighting is really, for my money, the best way to do it. Because you can thin these down. They don't have quite the strength of the don't quite have the strength of the strong colors, right, as they do out of the bottle. And that is one thing that's great about the GW colors, contrast paints, is they. I don't love these pots, but boy, it's way better to just put them out of the pot. But now, as you saw, I'm now using this fidget popper. There is a Turbo Dork has a little palette. It's got like 12 little silicone pop things plus a center thing for maybe like putting a fluid and then resting your brush on it. It's $30. It may still be on sale. I did not buy one. I almost did many times, and I actually should have when I just did an order recently. But Miniature Market had them on sale for $29. And that was actually pretty great because it's it seems like a good one. It doesn't take as much space as this one. And, you know, I think 12 little pots is all you really need. I only ever use I think I've used 7 on mine or so. So I'm actually having a tougher time here because, number one, I don't want to paint this white again. I have done it. It's not really that hard to cover up a mistake, but it is not my goal. Wow, I'm not getting any paint on this brush. It's partly because I'm using a very thinned down version of this. Well, not very. Did I do the front? Yeah, so let me look at the image that I have of that. Huh, where is it? Oh, it's below my project window here. I actually should put this up above. Ah, that's a mistake. I'll just leave it here for now. So it's already dried. So I'm going to build up a little bit more here where, wow, the color is weird here on the, oh, you know, it's this, I don't love this palette. I will tell you the other thing about the Turbo Dork little silicone palette. It is white there. It's available in white and black. I could not find one of these in white. I found like one that was about the same size that was a baseball. So it had some red printed on it, which wouldn't have been horrible. But I was just not ecstatic about it. So, and it was the same kind of money. So, and this one came with 2, so I just thought, I'll just get this one. If you look for Adam's video from a couple months back, he's got links to all this stuff on Amazon, and I just bought it from there. I was very excited when he told me about it at Gen Con. I was like, oh, and it made complete sense. I understood what he was talking about. I'm like, oh, that's exciting. Adam lost his cat of many years last week, and I felt for. I mean, I knew that they were he talked about the cat all the time, and it is tough. Nikki is the same kind of. She gets sad. Is that bubble palette made for this or no? It's one of those toys. The make of it was. It says right here on the side. John and John, inspired by you. But yeah, it's a fidget popper, and it's the other one. I have a dark gray one. I don't know where it's at. The dark gray one's fine, but I like having a lighter surface. Oh, here you go. Here's a clean one of this. So I have two of them, John and John. Made in China, but I mean, most everything is nowadays. And that doesn't really bother me. But I really like it. It's a great idea. It's a perfect little palette. Now you saw contrast paints don't come out as easily, but what happens is usually, and including this one, it dries and it just pulls itself off of the thing and you just dump it in the trash. And so I don't worry about it too much. If I'm going to do some airbrushing and I'm mixing something in like this pot, I put it in and then put it into the airbrush reservoir, which is fine, but you shouldn't mix in your airbrush because you can get particles, and that's specifically what I was having an issue there. So I'm not 100% sure. I may like do the mixing in the gray one, and have two different palettes specifically for a purpose. But it's a great little tool, and it's just a great idea because we're not dealing with, generally when you're painting miniatures or a lot of stuff, you don't have a ton of need a ton of paint. So it works perfectly well doing it this way. And it's just great. It's a really good idea. My friend I bought this Vortex mixer a long time ago now, like almost 7 years ago. They're expensive now, so he bought a cheaper one. And then I saw a video where they were saying they weren't so good, so I'm hoping he's getting better use out of his than those were. I felt bad for him, because I should have just bought one for him, because he saw it when they visited in 2018. And he's laughing. He's like, everybody's getting that one now. I go, yeah, I don't remember where I found it. I think I found it on Amazon. So I had read about, I knew about Vortex mixers. I've had lab classes and stuff like that. But I saw somebody talking about a guy that takes, I don't know if he takes surplus ones and paints them up. Actually, I think it was Adam. Maybe not. Maybe Adam was later. I think it was later. Because I think he bought one of those. I think it's called a Typhoon. But I read about those and I was like, oh wow. And they weren't even available. The guy doesn't always, he's not always making them, and you kind of had to get your order in. So I went and looked for something else. And I just did the traditional reading the Amazon reviews. And there were a few people that were saying they were using it for painting, for doing minis and nail polish. And I'm like, oh wow, this will be great. And I think it was $70 at the time. It's like over $100 right now, which is too much. But if it's reliable, maybe it's worth it. I don't know. But I really like it. It definitely, you'd think, oh, but I actually kind of strained my arm one time. This is when I actually made the effort to figure this out, because as I said, I read about Vortex mixers and went down the line, and then I think it was the Typhoon one that I saw that Adam had mentioned. And they're beefy. This is actually much smaller, and it's been good for me. The only thing I'm a little nervous about is the silicone top. I'm not sure how durable that will be, but I've been using it now for 6 or 7 years, and I try not to be hard on my stuff, so it might be that, but there is no replacement. I couldn't find replacement parts for it. I've looked at the website. Lab Genius is the maker of those, and they didn't sell them, but maybe they go for a long time. But it is great. It's really helpful. And you really need to shake, you really should shake all your paints, but you really need to shake the contrast paints. You need all of the pigments suspended before you paint. Again, I'm not using it in the traditional method. I'm going to buy them for my kids. Oh, a lot of figure painting. That's smart. It really is a great idea because you just leave it and then pop them out. And I'm mostly these are all contrast paints here. The standard acrylics absolutely pop right out. It's amazing. When you come back the next day, it's a little cup of paint, dried cup of paint, and it really does a great job. And I have a lot of different colors in a small area, you know. I can take the paint, put it in the pot, close it back, put it in the popper, and then close it up. So I won't have the spill. I mean, it's weird. I used this, which is a great holder for paints. And one day, a guy was joking about Games Workshop's paints that, what do you call it? Spill-A-Dell paints. And then I spilled. And I don't even know how it happened. There was red. I'm like, what happened here? So I think what actually truthfully happened is it came off the back end of this while it was sitting. And that is the challenge, right? I kind of feel like you need to mix them up and then let them sit, which I can't do if I'm trying to work quickly. But Spill-A-Dell. I have spilled them a few times. Now, if you're using only the contrast paints, I don't feel, well, and washes, I don't feel the other ones flow that quickly, so I don't know. But it is really cool. And I feel you could probably get by with one of the standard color ones, you know, if you really, it's not that big of a deal. It is nice to be able to see roughly what the color looks like. I mean, this is, if I were using a Wraithbone, it would probably be solid. But of course I don't. I've actually never done the Wraithbone. I used, oh goodness gracious, I looked it up recently. I can't, Codex White maybe, or something like that. That was their old one. And I bought the spray cans because I was doing it at Scott's. He didn't have an airbrush, and I don't think he still doesn't have one. But he was using rattle can later. But I just bought a bottle of and you know, I think the GW ones are nice. Their new one is just straight white though. The old one had a bit of a cool tone to it, a little cooler tone, because I feel whites, accurately for me anyway, are slightly cool. And I don't know, Angela, you guys went to that Star Wars Galactic, gosh, what do they call it? The ship, which is amazing. I mean, you know, it seems like it would have been fun, and it's already gone. So Nikki and I will not be going to do that. I'm sad because it's just silly. They didn't. It was, I'm sure it's probably pretty darn too expensive, but still, they should have given it some time to like develop, but I don't know. Everything is so quick nowadays. They're so quick to write off stuff so fast now. I'm really frustrated with like shows that like have already been pulled from the streaming services. You need to watch them if you want to see them, because there's no guarantee they'll hang around. And you know, we use cable and streaming services because we are crazy people, and they're terrible. I'm so pretty much done with cable now. We've been like, we'll get lucky and we'll find a movie every week or so that we might want to watch, because a lot of it we probably already own them. I definitely am one of the physical media people still out there crazy in that regard, but I don't like having them go away, you know. Wow, okay, so that's not a lot on that. He's got some stuff on his face, and then I'm going to just come in and do a little bit of darkening, but it doesn't seem like, I might actually need to use a very much darker color. I have not seen the new animated Spider-Man movie either yet. I do want to see it. We didn't get out to the theaters. We actually wanted to go see the Marvels. Nikki really likes those movies, and I think they're pretty good. I'm sad that they did not do well, and I thought Miss Marvel, the show, was great. I really liked the actress that played that character. She was really fun, and a huge fan, I guess, so hopefully, I don't know. I hope that they use her character in something else. Thunderbirds, I don't know what that, it can't be the name of it, whatever they're working on. Thunder something or other. I think I hear a cricket in here. It's unbelievable there's a cricket. It is so cold. There's got to be an old man cricket. It's crazy. Well, it did warm up a little bit, so maybe he's like, oh, it's summertime again. But we are filming tomorrow, so hooray. It'll just have to be. We can actually process that out. But, wow, is that face black? Sure looks like it. Interesting. Wow, it was one of your greatest experiences. We were so stressed about the money, and we did it worth every penny. That is awesome. I'm sad we didn't get to go. You know, Nikki's still never been to Disney World, and we thought, oh, well, maybe we'll do that, you know, do the whole thing. It is a lot of money. I can see that would be one reason why it wouldn't necessarily do well, ultimately, because, you know, that's just for a family to spend $6,000, and that's a small family, I think. For 3 days, I guess, 2 nights, 3 days. I don't even know the timing that they give you. Our friends Daryl and Maya went with their 2 kids, and then Angela and her significant other and family went, and then our friend who's been on GameNight a few times, Rachel, went with her significant other, and they had a great time. He's way into the role play, so it was fun for him. They went right away. I mean, smart people. You guys all got a chance to do it because it's not happening now. It's really weird. It's a lot of money to just, in my opinion, to throw away and give up on it so quickly, but it seems like it was pretty intense. You guys would know better than me. Yeah, and that's a US family, no kidding. Is tomorrow the date night episode? No. Tomorrow is the pre-order one. That's going to be, we'll probably shoot the date night one next week, and it will come out sometime in the next few weeks. The real plan on that one is actually to have Nikki, she wants to edit it. So I'm going to help her learn how to do that. She's got lots of skills in After Effects. She used to do tons of After Effects work. So instead of like loading, I mean, we're probably going to have Derek do some of them. But instead of loading him up, because he's got projects, he's got a new show he's trying to work on of his own. And it's something I had wanted him to do. You know, basically, he took the cameras with him, and then the pandemic hit, and he just, you know, doing something by yourself or with, you know, it was Nikki and I, so we'd been doing it for a while, but it's a challenge. And so I totally understand his not been a huge rush to actually do that stuff. But so yeah, this one is going to be, I mean, well, I really can't tell you just because it may not happen. I mean, it will probably film, but it may not become an episode. They need it so quickly, and we didn't know this. I mean, you'll probably know what the game is tomorrow, but it may not be an actual episode. You know, we don't do things like this normally because of this very reason. We're just not. We don't function in that kind of a time constraint, and I was actually trying to make Derek's and my Christmas time a little less intense. It's still been intense. It's already the 7th, and I've done about a month's work in a week, a little over a week, and I just really want to break from it. It's really, really wearing me out. And I would like, this is the first time I painted in a couple weeks, and I really want to paint more too. I have lots of stuff I'd like to work on. I just want to have time to do it. And so the goal is we'll see how it works tomorrow, and then Derek will probably get that ready, and then I'm going to try. We're trying a bunch of things. For us to do another show for Nikki and I, we just need to have the time where we're not working on something. Because Nikki actually does freelance work. She hasn't worked for a publisher for about 1.5 years now. Oh, maybe more than that. I can't even remember. And so, I think he got some stuff in his eye. Take care, Angela. Have a great one. It was great chatting with you. Take care. Have a great holiday. Thanks so much, too. We try hard. It's definitely work. But yeah, Nikki's actually, she's really a major part of what goes on with GameNight. There's no doubt. I have to do a lot of planning and organization for it, but you know, it wouldn't happen without her. And she's been in every episode. I have not been in every episode. We'll see what happens tomorrow. There was somebody else they were talking about having them on the stream, and I don't prefer more than 4 players, especially for something that sounds like it's going to be long, or semi-long. We'll see. I am going to watch a stream from today, another hint, of them playing this game, and see how that went. I think it was long. And we have other things planned. We really need to film. What we would like to do is a game, a Christmas game, beyond the Advent calendar. Like we did last year, we did a little escape room thingy from Grand Gamers Guild, which was really great. It was not 100% easy. It wasn't too long, and Nikki was amazing. I think I edited that one last year. I was trying not to be too harsh on Derek too. He's got 2 kids, and I'm really happy that he's going to try to get this other thing done for next week. I mean, you know, we're not going to not do work, but it's just, I don't want to be under the grind. It's a lot. The amount of things we do every week, especially when things get out of whack and timing wise, and we don't go that far ahead on game night. We have lots of episodes edited, but we don't have them prepared. And that is something I would like to try to get to do more. So his teeth are scary white gray. I almost feel like I should do another, well actually probably what I should do is kind of a brownish color. So let's mix a little bit of brown color. Angela's nice. She has a YouTube channel, and I think she's worked in the effects industry. She's in Australia, and I mean, I just watch her videos, you know, and I like her stuff. One time she was saying something, oh, she said about us in the video or something, and I was watching the video. I mean, I don't get to see everything, but I was watching and I was laughing. I'm like, hey, who's to say I won't be watching? I can sometimes watch. I like to watch. I wish I had the time to watch everything that people do, because I love it. You know, I mean, not everybody does it for us, and I totally understand why. It's not, you got to enjoy the game you're looking at. I know that we're relatively fun people to watch, but you know, not everybody watches everything, and I try to for the people that I like, but it doesn't always work out that way. And you know, so speaking of support, I actually try to support them on Patreon. We do not do Patreons, at least at this time anyway. But we do have our annual support drive at BGG. It's boardgamegeek.com/support. If you like what we're doing and you want to help us out, please go support us there. There's on that page, when you do support, there's a thing that you can say why you support BGG. Any amount helps, but if you go for I can't remember if it's a $25 level or something like that, but you get 1,000 Geek Gold, which is great, so you can polish up your gamer profile avatar. You can put in you can pay for a custom, do a custom image, and do the Uber badge and the regular badge. All stuff I was a big fan of doing. And let's see, I think I'm going to do a brown. Probably the sepia, excuse me. I don't know why. I don't know if it's really pronounced one way or the other. I'm still waiting for White Herb, Joseph. I am so sorry. That poor game. You can see behind us in the show all the time, there are 3 copies, and we actually have more than that. We love that game, and it is truly one of the cursed games for us. We've had so many attempts to make that work. And poor Rusty, one of his earliest shows, I think, maybe a little bit later than that, was one. And he won. He won that game handily. And you know, we were supposed to be sharks, and we do play pretty well, but we hadn't played it for a while. Might have been I can't remember when that was. I think it was the game of the year for us one year, meaning what we used to do at where we met Dave was they'd have a game of the month. They would pick a game that was a little bit older that everybody enjoyed and tried to make sure it got played every week. That was just the minimum requirement. So we decided, on our own, nobody else was really joining us in on that one. The three of us, Dave, Nikki, and I, we were going to do Wired Earp as the game of the year because it's Nikki's and one of our favorite games. It is my favorite, probably my favorite game. I don't know. I like a lot of games, and so we we had our friend Aaron was nice enough to got it played while we were away for a week, and it was awesome. And we loved that game. And so when we had played with Rusty, I was a little nervous that he was just going to be miserable from us, and he did great. Rusty's a great player, and so. But we had a technical problem. We just have had so many technical problems with that game. I think it's been filmed 3 times. And the issue is it needs to be available. So like when we got into that game, it wasn't really available. You could find it, the Rio Grande version of the Alea one. I mean, it was just a English localized version of the game. But then that disappeared. And so when we actually filmed it, the couple times we tried, it was available on from Eagle Griffin. And I'm just so sad that it didn't get done. I mean, it is such a great game, truly one of my favorites of all time. And we actually purchased, so it's loosely part of the Mystery Rummy games. It is not directly, it's close. But even those are I think they're out of print right now. USA Games or US Games or something like that did them. And I think I have all of them. Plus we got there was a Bonnie and Clyde one from Rio Grande Games. And maybe one other one. I can't remember. And then there's now a new one from WizKids, a recent one called Detective Rummy. And it was supposed to be like a campaign thing, and I think that didn't work out. But it's a story-driven game, so it is a campaign. It's not a legacy, I guess. But that was the goal. And we love Mike. He's awesome. He lives in Colorado now. Mike Fitzgerald, one of the designers on Mystery Rummy. Richard Borg is the other one on that one. So I'm not really sure how that one, when it came about. Sometimes it's interesting. So there's if you watched our Christmas Advent calendar stuff last year, you might have noticed that on a couple days we had a documentary crew in here. And it was, it wasn't about us. They were doing a thing about, it was called German Games, and it still is called German Games, but it's got a German title, it's German Games in German. And somebody asked about it, and I was laughing. I said, I had almost forgotten about that completely. And then I got an email from the guy. It went live today. Or no, today's the 7th? Yeah, so it was yesterday. I don't know if it played on TV, but it had come out also on the streaming because one of the viewers on Tuesday was in Germany, and they linked us to the thing, and it's only in German in that documentary, unfortunately. But they gave me a link to see it, which I only watched 30 minutes of it so far, and you could see it with subtitles, which is great because I semi-understand German. I studied German when I was in high school. Did not go into college with it, it was phenomenal, right? It was really, really cool documentary. It looks really good, and our bit was fun, but it was, we're English speakers number one, so that probably turned them off. They're like, yeah, I knew you apologized. I'm like, we are people that live in Hollywood. We know how that works, and we were suspicious that day like that they would even use. You know, we spent the whole day. We filmed a couple episodes because they wanted to be around when we filmed, and then, of course they wanted Deborah. Even though the person that was giving us the link on Tuesday was like, yeah, people won't necessarily know who Deborah is, and I'm like, well, they did, and they wanted to have Deborah, and they also wanted to meet Will, which I don't know Will. I mean, I have some friends that potentially, but Will's very, you know, he's very private, sort of. And so I don't know him, so for me to try to sick these people on him, I couldn't do that. So, wow, we are super dry here. I haven't refilled some of these bottles since the other day, and it is all evaporated. I have a reservoir here that I use for, wow, is it slimy in there? No. It shouldn't be though, actually. I've been using the distilled water in here. Anyway, but yeah, they interview Marcus and Inka and Marcus Brand. They interview Klaus Teuber, who passed away since then. They interview the head of the Spiel Museum. It's in Munich. I've been to the one in Nuremberg, which was amazing. Looked kind of like this one, but boy, that guy's was really amazingly organized. He passed away a few years back, so it was kind of bittersweet to see all these folks. And I'd met him at Spiel in previous years, and then of course I had met Klaus Teuber once. But he was awesome, and it was really interesting to hear his story. Like, I'd always heard like little things about what he used to do and all that, and he told the whole deal. And it wasn't great. Like, his company that he was running was struggling, and they were basically coming in to collect. And what I might do is do some actual blue kind of OS. I mean, I don't do them on all these, but it might be fun to try it with the airbrush, very, very delicately. Anyway, so it was sad to see him talking about that stuff, and then actually having just recently passed at only 70. Really too bad. But so it's a good documentary. Let me look at the name. I actually have it on my phone. Man, I keep dropping my paper towels. I only have so much space. It was real wet. I put it over here. Yeah, it was weird. Klaus seemed kind of winded in the video too, so I don't know exactly what happened. I talked to Peter, who runs Pete, who runs Catan Studios here in the U.S. about it. We ran into him. I hadn't seen him for a few years. We ran into him at Gen Con. We talked for a while, and he had just done some stuff with Klaus, so it was a real, they're very close. And one of Klaus's sons is in that company, Benjamin, I think. So it's really a drag. I have a friend of mine who is a musician. He's not passed away, but it took him 18 years to do this album. They just released it. I had heard songs over the years on it, and I just was kind of bummed. Like, it's such a bum, like, he was trying to do it on his own. He had a partner on it for I think the whole time, so it's been great, but it's like he's getting up there in the years, and it's just a bummer. Like, ugh, so much effort to get anything done sometimes. But of course, Klaus Teuber was doing great. Catan was such a massive hit, and he still occasionally designs stuff. But he was saying it's not easy for him to have any kind of follow up. Although he's made quite a few games that I really enjoy. They did not mention Chip Chip Hurrah in the video. One I like. It's fun. think I got that one from a BGG prize table. The prize table back in the, like when you'd come to the convention, you would pick a game from a collection of games, some bunch of new stuff sometimes, but also some stuff archived from the library. And I got a few really cool things that I had wanted, and one of them was Chip Chips Hurrah, which I was probably the only person that wanted that game, but I was excited to get it. That looks pretty good on his teeth. Eagle still sells Mystery Army series and Wired Earp on the website. That's good. That's good. I need to check it out. The downer is this isn't Sky. Yeah, I'm sorry, Gateway Gamer. I don't understand what happened on the update of this today. It is just me painting minis today. We did that on Tuesday, and you can see the VOD on, it's on YouTube in our live. I actually need to attach it to a playlist. We have our Game Night Lives playlist. I would like to, I mean, I really love Wired Earp. It's such a great game. I don't know if you guys watch the Trio Nana episode today. Rusty was really doing well. He probably should have won, really outright won those games, because he, especially the second game, was just pulling stuff out of a hat on that one. So it was awesome. I'm very happy that game's available in the US. We were hoping that, because I guess Cocktail Games does not produce stuff in the US in English. They still haven't done Top 10. It was nominated for an SDJ last year. It is coming. I know it is coming. I've talked to a publisher. We're not allowed to talk about it. So that is coming, but we were worried when that same publisher did not pick that game up. Is somebody going to do it? It's too great. It really is just gamer go fish, but it is very cool. And somebody said they'd rather play this kind of memory game. I'm like with you, 100%. I am not. I mean, if you want to see how bad I can be asking the same thing over, and I wasn't over and over, but a couple times, man, it's pretty bad. But we had fun. So the people that design these minis also, I don't know if it's the same artist, but they also paint the minis for CMON. And man, they are great. I don't know if they did, I have to go look at their Facebook page. They're called Big Child Creative, or Big Child Creatives, or something like that. They're from Brazil, and their stuff is amazing. And I don't know if they did Marvel Zombicide or Deceased. I did not back either of those, although I do have some of the Marvel Zombicide stuff. Scott was nice enough to have backed some of the extra stuff. I did not get the gigantic Galactus, which I would love, I mean, to be honest with you, but where am I going to put that thing? I already have the giant Cthulhu from Cthulhu May Die. I would love to, I want to paint that too. I've seen Fire Spray just did one recently. It looked amazing. And Rob Oren did one for Scott. It's at the BGG offices. And it just looks great every time I'm in there. I just love it. So I will paint that one eventually. That looks pretty cool so far. It's not done, but it's getting there because there's not much to it. Now, I won't do the airbrushing on the stream. If I do some of the little spot blue. It's pretty nice though. Then maybe come in and I'll do some standard traditional paint on the original. You can see I actually download all the images. Does it involve a lion and a haircut? I love Leo Goes to the Barber. Huh, what do they got going on for the gums there? Not really pink. It is the tongue though, I think. But anyway, so they do really nice jobs, and I just download the images, as many of them they have, because I don't know all the comic book characters, and I'm not gonna, I want them to be recognizable, so I'm not gonna change their coloring, for this anyway. But I like to like just go instead of sweating it out, you know, like what am I gonna do? I mean, look at this Spider-Man here image. What is this one called? Not Spider-Punk. Everything's zoomed up. No, that one's awesome. See, yeah, I don't know where these are at. I need to track these down. Oops, it went out of that one. Superior Spider-Man. I don't know what that one is. That is not it. Wow, why is this so zoomed out? Oh, there we go. My pinching and zooming. Oh, this is the wrong. What is the deal? These should not be in the Spider-Man. That's why I don't have. Okay, this is Symbiote Spider-Man. I just want to do a little bit of color and under shading in the eyes here, if I can make it work a wee bit. What time is it? I'm doing fine. I'm just going to go until I get tired. I got another half an hour. A friend of mine was in Texas. I was hoping he would go try Velvet Taco. He said he got too much Tex-Mex, which is usually how it is for me. I love Tex-Mex, but I invariably order the worst things for me. They're just so heavy. And I always try to like not do it. I'm like, oh, I'll get that one. Then I'm like, this is the same thing every time. But there's one we went to a couple times now. Well, we've been to it many times, but we've been to it downtown because when the convention's downtown, it's a little bit more of a challenge to eat, but there's lots of great places. Mi Casina, and I was like, I'm going to be careful and not get to, and I ended up getting the combo and got essentially the same thing I always get, just another variation on it. I'm like, dang it. And I just, it's so funny. It really messes with my stomach. Okay, some contrast medium. Trying to get through this bottle of it because this one actually was left open over a weekend and it evaporated a good amount. And I'm disappointed because I should be smarter than that. And it looked closed. That's my problem. You look at it and you're like, oh, that looks kind of closed. No, it's not. We will be doing Christmas at our house this year, so it is a bit of a challenge. We're trying to not, get everything organized, but like not make it take everything out of us. And Nikki's been mostly doing it. I have had no time. She decorated the tree the other day, and that really bummed me out because I like decorating the tree. I did help a tiny bit, but not really. But yeah, when they paint these, they paint a 3D printed mini. And so they change a little bit once they get released, because you figure out, I'm sure even though they're using, I'm sure, tools to computer tools to do this stuff, you kind of realize, oh, this is not gonna work. And it was funny too, because the Shuri one was the one I was kind of most disappointed with when I actually got it. I was like, oh, that's not what I was hoping it would be. But it's still cool. wish it was the one figure I was looking at in the would have been in this, but it's not. It's definitely not in this. It's probably part of the. I might have actually, just because I might have been pulling the stuff out specifically for Spider-Man and messed it up. So what I could do is try doing some of the blue. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, paint drying quick. It does have an intermittent freeze. Okay, let me check that. It is. Was not working when I first started, so I was like, oh, and then I did something and it got it to work. Let me just try disconnecting the box and see what it does. Thankfully, I will. Let me on that camera. Let me just get that to the front so I can see it happening. I'll be right back. It's hard to tell, and I thought I saw a flash, so that is usually an indication that there's something up. Oh, let's see that I actually get the right one done here this time. Oh, let me get my other glasses. I will not be able to see with these. Although I could probably go without glasses. But yeah, what we're doing is we're using HDMI connections with a professional, hey, it's totally not right. Let me turn off this too. Yeah, when this happens, I don't know what to do. Because now it's purple or orange. There we go. Let's see if that does it. Hopefully. Hopefully. So when you do that, HDMI needs it's got a copy protection sync. You know, it's not a professional grade. Let's see here. It seems okay. But like it kind of has to have a handshake throughout the signal, no matter what, somehow. And I think how it does that is at least to the box. That box then gives it the handshake. And whatever happens, if it's not correct when it boots up, I'm looking for this cable and it's under my shirt. And then it's going to give you grief. So hopefully that does it. Let me know, Gateway Gamer. The Spot guy is the name. I guess. Spot is what they say on the thing. Yeah. Oh, Joseph, you said the same thing. I'm sorry I missed it. Huh. Well, it probably is. It probably is intermittent, so it should be better now. Let's see here. My hand is like moving clearly. Okay, back to the reading glasses to see this. Let's let him dry a little bit longer. Do a little bit more here. putting a little bit on these seams to make this a little darker, just because it's got, I was trying to get it light, and in doing so put on obviously too much paint. So then it became too light, but it isn't really too light. You kind of want it, it's not focusing here. You want it to be webby colored, so. It's pretty good. Probably should do some white. I do have white going here. Ooh, that's pretty strong. Pretty strong white. Wrong one. Let's put this on a miniature holder too, now that I got paint all over my hands. Oof, too white. Too white. Which kind of means it's going to kill that white, but that's okay. I should actually be using some medium to really thin it down. Actually, what I really should be using is some of the white. I have a pretty good white, apothecary white. There's also a white in, well, I don't have it yet, but in the speed paints, I think. But I don't love the apothecary white, but this might be the right thing for it. I used it a couple of times and it's not really white. Needs a lot of shaking. It's me, Barry. Oh, I didn't know that, Gateway Gamer. There you go. The Gimp. Oh, you're doing pretty good, Barry. I didn't know that was your YouTube handle. Gateway Gamer runs through. Well, there you go. Barry was giving us crap for our, said we've been wearing the same clothes for a week. Not true. Oh, it looks like it freezes when you move something out of focus. Huh. Who knows? Yeah. So annoying. I should be looking, well, I can't really look at the stream. I'm looking at it on ours, although it should, my camera should let me know when there's a problem. Anyway. Okay, well, it's still not mixed up. We hung out with Barry at BGG Spring. He was not able to make it to BGG Con proper in November. It was busy, Barry. Very, very busy. We had a good time, though. So, I mean, you really have to mix this stuff. If you want it to be correct, I don't really want to turn the camera off. Did something to my channel before I went to the mountains and don't remember what. Uh-oh. I mean, you can see the pigment is swirling under here. It is not mixed in 100% yet. Maybe next year for fall, yeah. Fall's good. It's just, it is definitely a busier con. Well, I'm going to use a good chunk of this, so I think I'm going to just put it on. Well, it may be too gray. It is a weird color. It's not a white. Let me just put some in the pot here because, I mean, that way I can put some contrast paint, medium in it if I need to. Got to make sure they're sealed. Yeah, this is not white enough. It's a blue. A blue-gray. I don't know. I wonder what the... I should try to get the one from Army Painter and see what it does. There may be a new one, though. Actually, I have all the new colors. So I don't think they have... I think this is the white that they've got from Citadel for their contrast paints. Now, if you... I put a little bit of white in it. If you keep building it up, you know, it'll get whiter if it's a lighter, if it is indeed a lighter color, and this seems to be. I'm just trying to counter the black that I did to go the other direction on it. So this dries pretty quickly when you're not putting a lot on. Now, I don't think I put any contrast medium. I just put, which will extend the dry time. It's funny, I was really actually very happy to not be traveling. And then I was kind of sad we didn't go to PAX. I've never been. There was a chance we were going to go in 2020. And of course, all of that came to nothing. Because Nikki might have needed to go, and if she was going to have to go, I would have gone. But I just want to see it once. I mean, you know, hearing people talk about it, I'm like, wonder if there was more. I saw lots of booths, and so they may be doing different than what normal PAX is, because normal PAX, they don't really, you can sell things, but they want you to give experiences. Now, I don't know if that's in the same still, but that was the case a while back. We have a friend that would did stuff at the... Oh, that's what it was. You couldn't charge for her. They had an escape room thing, a small escape room thing that was kind of cool. And they weren't allowed to charge for it. But they could sell games. They sold escape room games. But, you know, they wanted, because PAX is a video game thing, they wanted experiences, I guess. So I thought, wow, that's harsh, you know, because it's expensive to do cons. You know, I saw somebody's post today on Twitter, like they were just saying, you know, that it's terrible. You know, they aren't going to make money on it. And what are you going to do? You know, I mean, it is now in their case. I thought it was like a Indie Gamers Alliance or something like that, and I'm like, wow, okay, because you know they're promoting other stuff together, and I don't know how that works. I think I've seen them maybe at, oops, I'm sorry, not in focus. I think I've seen them at Gen Con. So I don't know what it was. I actually bought a game from them if it's those same folks. But yeah, you don't want them to not, you know, it's expensive. So BGG for many years didn't sell anything. We just were there to do the, number one, we got games for the BG library, that is true. So essentially that's kind of like an income. But it was too much. You know, in the end, Scott was like, he did not want to, I mean, we may have a booth now next year just because it is hard to do what we were doing. And maybe we can do it with a smaller group of folks, because that's expensive too. Like just staying, you know, the hotels, I don't know what Philly's like, but all these other ones, it is expensive. Spiel is really expensive. We don't stay at the hotel right next to the convention anymore because it's just too much dough. And they weren't actually very nice to us during the pandemic. So you have to pay for those rooms in advance, and they were giving 0 refunds. And you know, that's the way they do it. It was unfortunate that we couldn't go, right? There was no convention. So Scott was like, well, we can't do that anymore. But, you know, they did that to everybody, basically. So they had to, too, ultimately. You know, that's part of the whole deal. It's like, it isn't great, and I'm sure they know it frustrated people, so they probably were not doing it with, you know. Now, they took the money and made sure that we all paid, but it's fine. But yeah, we can't. It's too expensive. So we stayed at one a little bit further in, like towards the city center, which I actually prefer. Because, you know, when we go to dinner, we would go to the city center, and you end up having to go back to the hotel. You know, we took the Uber, the U-Bahn, Uber-Bahn. And it's actually easier to just go back to the main train station during the day, and then you know, in the evening, and then just go someplace up there, and then just generally walk back to your hotel room. Wow, $120 to walk into the door for one day, yeah. See, that's the challenge. It's too darned expensive. I would like to, you know, that's my problem with actually going, is we don't really have that much business there. I know that we had Beth and, I mean, maybe there'd be more business. I don't know. That wasn't originally what our intention was for that, you know. I ordered some new brushes. I don't have a lot of smaller brushes, so I ordered like 36 brushes maybe, or something, of different sizes between 0 and 2. I have size 2 brushes in this brand, this Royal & Langnickel. They're okay. The bristles are not long enough. So anyway, I bought them from like a school supply place, and they shipped the white Taklon, you know, the white fibered ones. So hopefully I'll get them. But they were ones that an artist named Sam Lenz likes, and he's a friend of Adam's. So I thought, well, I'll try those, because I mean, truthfully, I'm not a big fan of some of the ones I bought that I spent a good amount of money on ultimately. Like the bristles, the synthetic bristles are too stiff. Some of them are too stiff, and I don't like that. So I don't know brushes that well. I mostly used Winsor Newton, and I bought those when I was in college and high school and got a great price on them. They're very expensive. I bought 4 brushes for me and Nikki at one point, semi-recently. And they were nearly $100. And you know, those are sable, they're real sable. And I'm not against sable brushes. I mean, I don't really like it. I don't, you know, you don't get sable hair from giving him a shave, I'm sure. So, and I think the synthetic ones are fine. I get it. You know, if you take care of your sable brush, it will last a long time. But I don't know. I mean, you know, the reality is using these, they're plastics, and when you throw them away, they'll, you know, add to the plastic load that we have. So it's a challenge any way you go. I did not watch the stream, Barry's on a stream on Wednesdays. I did not watch it. Last night I actually was kind of hoping to, I usually will watch it if I'm like wrapping up a video, but there was no wrapping up of the video till much later, so I didn't check it out. That's kind of cool. Why would I do that to myself? I want to see that one, but it's, again, we just traveled. We've traveled a bunch at the end of the year here, and so I'm kind of happy to be home. And I know my mom prefers if we're around, and I get it. She's by herself, and she hasn't lost her friend yet. Her friend had a stroke, and I mean, that lady was a go-getter too. So, and she's recovering, but you know, she can't really. There's no conversation when they visit. She's getting more vocal, but it's terrible. Okay, well, let's do some reddish colors for the mouth. Oh, neat. I've just finished up a board game garbage. Yeah, Barry, I mean, it's the future, right? We're all gonna go through some tough stuff as we get older, and it's terrible. And you know, my mom, she's doing pretty good, but she fell in 2021, I believe. And so she stayed with us for like 3 months because I wanted to see what was going on. I was really worried about it all. And gosh, what color should I use? I've got to go back to that guy. Anti-venom. Okay, so his mouth is pretty red. I don't know anything about Venom. I actually own some of the movies. I don't know if I must have gotten both of them in 3D. I collect 3D movies, I just haven't had a chance to watch them. But I think this is going to be a red, so I'm going to use like a Flesh Terrors red thinned out. Let's see how that goes. It's already almost 7:30. Thanks, Nikki P. She's watching in there. So I'm putting in agitator beads. I have some of I don't have any of the Army Painter ones, but I have some of the AK Interactives. I've never used them. They're very large. But I use these glass ones in the contrast paints. These are from Monument Harpies, and they're little glass ones. But the radius is about right for the inside of the bottle on these contrast paints, so they do a pretty good job of mixing the paint. I can't even imagine mixing these paints without agitator balls. I used to stir them with my brush when I first got into them, and that's crazy because you really can't do that great of a job. But you really want to mix them, and you can hear there's one little glass ball in here. I think the new, I think they put a couple inside these bottles now. I think it says somewhere on here. Mixing balls included. So these are, I do have some Army Painter ones because they're in the paints now, which I think is a great idea. I do know that somebody was saying that oh, there's a screw there. That's what's making all that noise. I do know there's somebody thought the bottle was full and squeezed it and it popped the top off because the bearing got in the way there. So you got to be careful of that. Boy, I sure mixed a lot of that sepia. Let me make 2 mixes for this. It's kind of a purpley red. So I'm going to put a little bit, I'm going to use some of the regular straight red and then a thinned out one with the contrast medium. Ooh, see, now that wasn't sealed. Once again, I need to get this together. So it doesn't turn it like if you used a white, which you can't really do with a contrast paint. I mean, I just did it with this one. But if you mixed it with white, it would become too pink. I mean, it's pink, don't get me wrong, but it's more intense. So this is where contrast mediums are great because it doesn't have the white really affecting the color. Got it on his upper teeth. Why would he have, well, I mean, his gums maybe, but venom gums. I don't think that paint is dry still, the sepia. See, I mean, I have to wait a while. I should have painted this pink before I was doing all those other things, because it takes a long time for it, especially when you have the contrast. I mean, it takes a good amount more time to dry. Maybe I won't use those pinks. Might put a standard red in there too, I don't know. It kind of looks tongue-like. Oopsie, not focus. His tongue looks very pink on camera. It's not dry either, so. You can use the blow dryer. I have one off to the side, but I'm not in that big of a lipstick color, you're saying? Pick on his dental hygiene. I don't think he cares about his dental hygiene. Maybe he's British. Hey. That's neat. So there's all kinds of webbing on the ground too. That must be the symbiote stuff. It looks black in those pictures, so maybe I need to put some more on there. Let's go for it. They want you to go for it. Yeah, it does not look like they changed the sculpt. I'm sure that has to do with releasing it out of the mold, which you don't have to worry about when you're printing it on 3D. I mean, there are other things to take into consideration when you're painting, printing in 3D, but it's not coming out of a mold. One thing they were saying in that video, though, that I was watching, the German games video, they were saying that in Germany, Exit is bigger than Monopoly and Uno, which is amazing. I mean, I imagine, I don't know though, you know, I mean, I know that Monopoly is still a powerful brand around in Germany too, but I haven't played Monopoly in forever. I didn't hate it, but I didn't really, I mean, it hasn't been that long. I do recall playing it somehow semi-recently, maybe another variation on it or something. Hear the music stuttering. But yeah, I want to watch the rest of that. I'll have to see if we can do it on the TV. Just got in a big long day. Oh yeah, I had a long day too. I saw you post, you sent me a message at like 4:30 my time, and I was actually still up, but I was trying to focus so hard on getting the stuff done, and it really took me a long time. And I'm going to sleep. We have to film tomorrow, so I have to prepare tonight so I can sleep as long as I possibly can sleep tomorrow. I didn't actually see your message till a little bit later, and I was really just nose to the grindstone trying to get it done. It really was hard. There's so many problems today on that episode. It's kind of a bummer. So, I mean, we switched to doing everything in 4K, and for us to do that, we have an 8K camera pointing down, and it is just massive amount of files. So I started to work on it yesterday evening Well, I worked on it several times, but I really sat down to get it done because we had reshot some stuff. We shot more stuff this last weekend, specifically to show the trio version of the game. And because we didn't have it, and I got it sent to us. And I just had troubles with that, so I did the proxies, and the proxies did not help at all. So there was just something with that project, because I shouldn't have to do proxies. I mean, you know, it's still 8K. Probably should do that one at a minimum is proxied. Oh, Christmas concert, that's nice. We are going to try to take it easy. I mean, we're still going to stream. We'll still do some filming, but we're not going to, I'm going to try to have our episodes. The downer is, as I said, we're filming something tomorrow that hopefully will be next week's episode. And I just want to try to enjoy the holidays. I have not been able to do that. It's weird, you know. I mean, I brought this on myself to do these advent calendars. I was actually sad when Frosted stopped doing the little expansions. We would buy those and do them. You know, those are literally like 2 to 3 minute videos because we didn't know the game. We might not even have the game that they're related to. But, I mean, I like this way better because it's fun that it's a puzzle and it's fun having us involved. I do, you know, spoiler alert, Dave and Deborah are in all of them because they wanted to do them. So, which is great because it's fun and they have a great time at it. The issue is, of course, we don't have the other people on. And you can't film as we had fewer days to film with them because Dave was going back up to his mother's for Thanksgiving, and Deborah had family here for Thanksgiving, and you know we were away for BGG Con and everything too, and so we basically only filmed it in a couple days instead of like 3 or 4 sessions like we did last year. So that's hard, much harder. Ultimately. But we got everything filmed sooner than we did last year. We went into December last year on that. Thankfully, Dave came down a bit before Christmas, so we filmed a few with him. Well, actually, I think we did the bulk of them with him. We had Deborah for like 5 or 6, and I was going to do the same thing this year, but with, you know, like Rusty for 5 and I did buy next year's advent calendar already, so we have it. And I teased Deborah and Dave like, okay, let's get started on next year's. Nikki said she'd be willing to do that. Then we'd have a full year to edit them, but we would all look quite a bit different. Well, Deborah would probably look similar, but I suppose Dave would be, but Nikki's hair would be different. And I would be older. We'd all be older. How much storage do we have? I have a lot of storage, Barry, a ton. We have, yeah, we should change our clothes. I was not going to make people do that. I actually had to buy more storage. I used to have a project drive that I would, you know, keep active, but we started to really film more stuff more often this year, and I just was bumping up against the limitations of the storage. So I got a bigger drive. I don't remember if it's I think it's 8 terabytes, but it's already full. And then I have to put, we have a cloud storage for that as well for the final, when the projects are done. And I don't delete them, which I probably should for local, because I've not needed them to, but I'm not really sure how that tongue looks. It's a little too red, but that'll be fine. But yeah, it's bad. So it's better now. And that was the thing I thought might have been the problem with last night's episodes, because last night's episode was on the older drive, which is not small, but it was still kind of full. So I did more archiving last night and ran proxies, and none of that helped. So there was just something with that project that was wrong. I am happy to have it behind me. Wow, the paint is turning into gel. Getting old. Is with different people would probably be to do the whole sequence with each set of parties. That would be a chore. I mean, that's how we do it, David. We actually shoot. Every time we've done it, we have I think changed clothes on some of them last year, but like we did 5 with Deborah, like I said, and then 10 or 11 or 12 with Dave, and then tried to get Rusty, and then did it with Aaron, and Aaron finished it off, and then we did the Christmas one that we did with Aaron as well, which was great. And so it worked out. You know, it was 3 days instead of 2 that we did this time. This time we did them, the remaining ones, when we did the 500th episode. So we shot those before Rusty and Mike came over, which, you know, is good, but at the same time, I would love to have Rusty and Mike involved. It's just too many people. It's really already too many people with 4. We did try to do our best to get everybody involved, but it's hard. One example was I couldn't even really tell there was a problem until I saw it on, when I was editing it. Let me cut back. I'll be wrapping it up here. So when we were doing when I was looking at the edit, Dave was using the airbrush, the paint flashlight as a pointer, and it just blew out the image. And it was one where you're looking at all this stuff, and they're referencing things, and you couldn't see it at all. So I had to actually reshoot that piece, and so that it was visible to the audience. Because I mean, and I know there's more that I probably missed. Scott was saying one of the ones Dave pointed the flashlight in, and then we were using the camera from above to illuminate the hole. And we had forgotten, like I did that last year, and I forgot about it this year. And so, until like day 9. And so I don't think we didn't do them every day, because not every day needed it. But I did the rest of them. There's a good chunk of camera stuff. So, and I also figured a better way to light it, of course, halfway through, so that it's not too glaring and the camera can have enough light. So I need to try to do that next year when we do it. We'll see how it all goes, but it's fun. I love doing those, and I love doing it as the holiday thing. It's fun. I like the idea of having something for everybody to check a little video out for the whole thing. And it's fun having more people. When we were doing the the Frosted Games thing, which was awesome, by the way. I mean, I love that. There's some promos and stuff that you can't get, you can only get them in that. I mean, we broke some of them out when people were done, because it's expensive to ship a big box. it was a really big box. One year they did them in a small box, and it wasn't as much fun. You know, people want to open doors, so they went back to the doors, and then they stopped. And I think those are mostly developed by Frosted Games, so that was kind of interesting to see what they were doing on it. But now I just love these little advent calendars, and it's fun to have more people involved. Just opening something is not real, you know, not that great. We would try to figure out what was going on with it. You know, I'm really happy that Exit is doing those. So we basically have next year's, and then the one that was put out in Germany this year, which I think is a Hollywood adventure, will be in English next year probably. I mean, should be. Those are done by Cosmos UK. I'm going to sneeze, hold on. Excuse me. And so it takes some time, right? I'm sure they just get that thing done basically in time for it to be in production and get it produced in Germany. Especially if that game is bigger than Monopoly, you can understand why Cosmos is making sure that gets put out. I have a paint question. A stream you did a couple months ago, you mentioned a wash you could do if you just wanted to get some detail on the Mini, if you didn't want to paint the whole set. I can't find the stream again. So, one of the washes you can use is, this is what you, so I think I'm referring to, it's a wash you want to do after you've painted it. But I'm not sure. And that would be this here, would be Strong Tone. It's pretty great, and what I do is I go in and I put, I'm showing you on the other camera, Strong Tone, it's from Army Painter. It's essentially like, I think this one's kind of like, let's see here, Agrex Earthshade. I think they're kind of a similar color. So they would both do it. You can also just do washes. That might have been the stream I was doing it with Candace, where we were talking about what they do for their paints, for their minis. You know, I have one here that I painted, so it's not really, I repainted. This is from Nemesis. Let me cut back. This was from Nemesis, so I painted this. I also did one of hers, so I think I redid this one more than what they did. I could be remembering this wrong. I feel like this is mine though. But anyway, that's just a dry brush, right? So that was black, and you know these are xenomorphs, so it's not really a lot of detail. But you can also do what they were calling Sunspot. That's basically using this paint. You can buy these in cans. You can buy this stuff in cans. They have like a pint or something like that, 16 ounces. You could just dip the whole thing in and let it dry, and people do that. It works pretty great. I'm pretty certain that's how they did. The stuff for, and that might have been where I was talking about it, for Foundations of Rome, because those are buildings, and they look good. I saw them. Scott doesn't have them. I actually was trying to do that for Scott. Now, I was brushing it on, and I'm not sure that that's how they do it, but I imagine that's how they do it, because that's got to be the easiest way. And I've seen those results. I've never done it myself, but they look cool. I mean, they look like, you know, if the undercoating is right, if the miniature color's right, it looks really good. But you can also just spray that one color and then put that wash on it, and it would be pretty great. I hope that's it. That's what it was. Okay, great. I'm glad I was able to remember. That stuff is really good. I wish I had, there's many quick shades. I don't know that they do all of them in that size, but they have like purple. I mean, I want to buy them all, because I like, I mean, I have, GW was kind enough to send me last year the whole new shade series. And they changed these here. This is the original, well, not original, an older version of the Nuln Oil, which I don't think you can get them in this size bottle anymore. It is now part of this series, and they changed the composition a little bit and the pigments a teeny bit. And they kind of look better in some ways. I just bought those because I do like those shades. I used to love the GW inks when they were in those crappy, these bottles. I have these sitting here. These are the bolt gun shell ones. So the first ones were screw tops, and then they made these flip tops. and they're okay, but the problem is it does not seal. So the paint would just dry, and those, I have the ink somewhere still, but in not those bottles. I had them in the predecessor of these bottles. They were similar with a white top. They had things like called Foundation was, I think, the color, like the base colors, and they were made in China, and it was just not great. They actually smelled like house paint to me, so, and maybe they were. But yeah, you dip it in the wash on those stuff. So yeah, there's lots of ways to get stuff done quickly if you'd like. But yeah, back to the Advent stuff. If you, those are really good. And the first one was not hard. Let me see, do I have one out here? I don't. It wasn't hard, but it was just above beginner. And the last few, I think, have been beginners. So maybe, I mean, we like that puzzle a lot, those puzzles a lot. It's funny, so we were assuming it was the Beatles, and who are not known for a Christmas song, that Deborah was doing on one of the ones recently. And it was really, somebody said, I believe it's Wham, because remember I guess the Andrew Ridgeley character is referring to Last Easter, which is hilarious. I still have not heard that song yet. I'm only on day 7, so I'm sure I'm going to get the Whamageddon. I'm sure I'm going to get it here soon. Nikki was frustrated that she heard the bane of her existence is Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney, which I don't mind. I really love the Beatles, so it's a fine song, but she can't stand it. And the 30th, we were in the store and she heard it already. And she's like, dang it. So I feel for her. Anyway, let's see if there's somebody we can raid. There will be no Brothers Murph. They are done streaming on Twitch. If you want to catch their streams on YouTube, they will be back after the first of the year. And they're only going to be streaming on YouTube. They're going to just try to build their audience there. Twitch, I like Twitch. It's fun. I love like the avatars and the icons and emojis and stuff like that. I just wish that there was more that they could do for board games, and I get it. The reality is it's really about video games, and that's the most kind of compelling content for that type of service, for any kind of streaming ultimately. But it's a downer because I do like the idea of rating. I like all of this stuff, but they just felt they were treading water. And so I'll mention, some of you may know that we're on BoardGameGeek.com/live. That is a page that we stream us and other channels on, and we have the schedule. Now, it's only up till the 12th because everybody was away and I don't have all of the scheduling for that, but I need to get that in because the 12th is Tuesday. And I usually put the whole month in, and then if I get information from the streamers about what they're playing, you can plan to see that if you want, and be involved live. We are not great about having what's coming up because, we could be planning for one thing, and then when something shows up that we're excited to show or try to see if it'll work for our show, and we'll do that. And so I ask people to do that, and I'm like, I don't hammer home the point enough that we don't do it, so you don't have to either, but it is nice. And it gives a reason for people to come and check it out. So that's BoardGameGeek.com/live. You can see ours and other people's streams there. We also have secondary streamers. So like if somebody were streaming right now, obviously BGG stuff's going to be a priority on that page. But if somebody else is streaming, you'd see that they were streaming now. And if they had the game information, which I don't know if you can do that on secondary streams, but you can see and you can go check out what they're doing. You can click through. And we can stream YouTube there. We're going to try to do the Bros Murph stuff there. They're planning on actually setting a time so they can give me that code, and then it will go live. And so I'll probably have to work. They're not great about getting me all that stuff because they are very busy. And I would like for that to happen so that people can also plan for that. And I know that will help build our audience. I mean, I think that would be great on YouTube as well, but we have to see. It's like our schedule's so iffy, and we travel. I mean, we stream if we're here, unless we're sick or something like that. And like when we came back from Essen, I streamed because I knew Nikki was going to be worn out. I'm only basically recovering now. Like I was sleep deprived for so long. It's so weird. I never had that kind of reaction from travel. So Anyway, let's see if there's anybody we can raid here. I do love the raids. I wish that there was some way that YouTube could do that. So, obviously we can't do that for the, oh, Nikki's telling me support drive. So I mentioned at the beginning, but yes, if you want to help support what we do here and what BGG does, so if you like our content or any of the other content that we do, we got Jamie's solo mode, we got Candace's cardboard creations, and her, boy, there's another. Tired. And we also have the quad that she does with Stephen Bonacore and some other regulars and guests. If you like those things, please consider supporting us at boardgamegeek.com/support. And you can also put in there why. There's a little bit that you can, if you support it, you can click through and say why you support BGG, what you like about it and stuff like that. But we really appreciate it. It's helpful. For us, we don't like to, that's one reason why we don't do Patreons at this point yet. I mean, I hope we don't have to. I don't mind if we had to. If we had to do it, it'd be fine. But it's just, you know, it's we just want to have like one time. You can support any time of the year. You can do that from, it's year-round. That support page is open. But during the final month, we have a big push. This year we're shooting for 18,000. I think we did it last year too. 18,000 supporters. If you can do that, any kind of amount would help us, and I really appreciate it. And if you want, say that you like watching Game Night or something like that in the quotes thing. I've never done it. I never found it, and I finally found it. Scott told me it was like blurb, and I don't know what it was something /blurb, but I couldn't find it, or blurby, I don't know. But it's on the support page. It says if you've supported or just supported, you can say why, and it'd be fun. I've never seen anybody say anything about Game Night. It's fine. You know, YouTube's really kind of our audience, but it'd be fun to have more BGG people on there. Anyway, let's see what we can raid here. Sorry, guys, going on and on. Where is that at? Am I on? Oh, wait, it's over there. I think I've got the window off to the side. Nope. Hey. Creator dashboard. Stream manager, boy, it's different. Every time I come in here, and YouTube changed a bunch of stuff too. So let's see what we got here. Take care, David. You have a good night too. Hey, Prime Video is streaming, so I guess that's football. Hey, Bonzinator. I don't know what she should be. She's going to be on our schedule. I had her on the other day. The downer is most of her stuff is same time programming as ours, but she is listed as a streaming person, so let's go raid her. It may not be board games. Looks like it's a video game. What the heck. Everybody say hello on that end, and have a great weekend, and I hope to see you next Tuesday. I'll stream again, and then we'll be back with Game Night live on Thursday at the same time as this one. Take care, everybody. Well, I say that, but it isn't done yet. I have to wait for this to do the thing. I hope you guys take care. I don't know how fast this will go. There we go. Bye, everybody. And take care, YouTube folks, as well. Have a great one. He says confidently. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. This is the weird thing is I have a double interface, right? So, okay. Here we go. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.